3,000 yards.
Wow.
Four
You're
back.
making me excited.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Soul Shack tonight. On my right, Adam Markham. On my left, Bobby Reynolds. Gentlemen, how are we this evening?
Doing well. Great day today. Got to get out there and play a little bit of golf. It was a wonderful time.
You maybe had like one of the best rounds of your life.
I had a really good round. Yeah. Shot a 78, 2 eagles. Let's go. Let's go.
That's really good.
It was tight. One of them was a chip-in eagle. It was,
love that.
Yeah. Yeah, feeling good. We weren't, I thought, and it still is, it's going to be a regression year with a baby on the way. We got to get the rounds in now, but we want to also play well now.
Bank some hours because you know what's coming on the other side of baby number 2.
But yeah, felt good, felt strong. Feeling better than ever, Josh.
Better than ever. I highly doubt that. Bobo, how are you, man?
I'm good. I played 36 holes of disc golf today, so
Look at you.
Better. Even better.
Did you have an eagle?
I had a couple eagles. We were under par both rounds. It was doing
Y'all
just
are just
fine.
doing the Lord's work today.
Me and Addie, though, we got an in. We got an in now.
Got an in.
Got an in. We may be playing at the nicest course in Kentucky, I would say.
It's up
Wow.
there. Yeah.
The home of the PGA Championship in 2000. But me and Addie may be playing a little Valhalla action.
Look at y'all.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Thanks to the podcast, we appreciate you guys.
You know, Valhalla is like where the Vikings go when they die. So is this like y'all's final ride?
Yeah, that's
Into
also a
Valhalla?
level in Halo, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a
Yeah.
great Halo map.
Yeah, we're I'm excited to see a lot of that course.
Yeah, a lot. Probably too much of it,
It's going to be
right?
a tough time for sure. But yeah, it'll be, chance of a lifetime to get to play there.
We'll make sure to take pics, be super miserable on Twitter that day.
Yeah, absolutely obnoxious.
Absolutely.
Can't stand them.
For sure.
Well,
Lot of
y'all, thanks for
hashtags.
joining us tonight in the Sode Shack. We're glad that y'all are here. Before these guys talk golf for the rest of the episode, we got a good sode for y'all tonight. We're going to be talking about, as the calendar turns to April, the NFL draft is upon us, gentlemen. And it is shaping up to be an interesting draft. Not a lot of sizzle compared to past years, but there's still some glory to be had, especially for your IDP league. So we bring on the big guns this time of year. And our first guest, to quote Dave Letterman, needs no introduction. But we're going to give you one anyways in the spirit of professional wrestling. Let's cue up this next guest.
If you're ready for IDP rookie draft season, give me a hell yeah. You're damn right. It's time to do the prep work for your rookie draft so that the championship in 2022 comes home with you. So that's all I got to say about that. It's time to get your ass serious, and that means it's time to take your ass, roll right into Route IDP 316, shine up your boots, stop a mud hole in your opponent's asses, and burn your league to the ground. Make sure your league mates are looking at you in your eyes when that draft begins, because it don't matter. Your league title is coming home with you, and that's the bottom line, because Mike Woellert and the IDP show said so.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I mean, my piss is hot right now, boys.
I want to punch you as hard as I can.
I want to throw you off the bunk bed onto the table. Joining us in the virtual Sode Shack, ladies and gentlemen, it is Mike Woellert. Mike, how are you, my friend?
It's WrestleMania season, draft season.
That's right. Smack those green teas together.
Water, but hey. But anyway, how's it going, fellas? And you bring in the big guns, but yet I had to ask you to come on. So I see how it is. I'm getting big time by the IDP show. So
I told
all
them
good.
before we got on, y'all, we're Hollywood now.
Oh, we're a big deal.
We're
a big
the
deal.
biggest of
You got
deals.
all the cameras going. Yeah, I got
I
you.
know.
The sponsorships.
I
They
know.
got the
We got Manscaped swag.
chapstick.
If you don't think OnlyFans is going to be rolling out here this summer, once we get into the dog days
in
of
the
fantasy
works.
football, you don't know anything about us or this show. But, Mike, we are at this point in the calendar a little bit on the novice side when it comes to our draft prospects. And so we brought you on tonight. We're doing a little bit of a different format. Of course, our boy John Macri has the linebackers, the defensive line, and the DBs covered with his Big Nickel IDP podcast. So we're doing a little bit different format for tonight's episode. With you, we are going to be talking IDP sleepers for the upcoming draft. These are guys that maybe are a little bit under the radar for your fantasy squads. I think you've got about 10 or 11 guys that we're going to talk about tonight, Mike. How did you find this exercise? Was it easy to find sleepers from this 2022 draft class?
You just got to go digging. There's some guys that you kind of see mentioned and you see little clips here and there and like, ooh, I better look into that guy a little bit more, get, wet your whistle a little bit and just do a little bit more diving in. So, it's a pretty good class all around. I will say cornerback and safety is that's like tough. For me, it's like, all right, they're not playing majority in the box. I don't want anything to do with them. So
yep.
For the most part. But yeah, the safety corner, they are what they are. But yeah, the class this year, I think is pretty good. I think there's going to be some pretty good diamonds in the rough outside of those, like, I guess, consensus top 5, if you will.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Seems like there's not maybe that top end talent that we've seen in years past, but I have heard from several folks who covered the draft, it is a deep draft as far as like pick 15 through 45. That middle class of this draft is very strong. And that's nice because you're not in a situation necessarily where if you don't have a top, say, 18 pick in your rookie draft, you're screwed in terms of getting a guy who can actually start.
It's not, I don't think it's very top heavy. I think if you need to replenish, I think it's a good year to replenish and kind of stock up. And there's maybe only 1 or 2 guys that if you don't get, you're kind of like bummed. But other than that, I think you got a good mix. You got a good group of guys to choose from this year.
Addy, before we get into the draft sleepers, though, we got a birthday boy on tonight's show.
Boy,
Mikey Dubs. Mikey Dubs, birthday pod. And we got to thank you for choosing to spend your birthday with us, Mike. Your family's like, Dad, let's do something. And you're like, no, kids, I've got to go do a birthday
your family.
pod.
We're your family, Mike.
We are your IDP family,
we
Mike.
Love
so
you
got to do something kind of fun with the kiddo yesterday.
Yeah, we did the family thing last night. The 4 of us went to the Cavs game last night. So, we did that last night. So that was nice. We got to see the Cavs win. Jinx the Cavs again with Mobley getting hurt. So, so you're welcome, Cleveland. And but no, it was the I guess you can call it now the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. They did a really good job of refurbishing, remodeling it. It's really nice now. It's got a really nice glass design outside. So they really spruced it up and brought it into the now, because it was 97 it was built and it was starting to look its age. They did some stuff to it after when LeBron got drafted and even when he came back, but this is like a major overhaul.
Yeah, thank you, LeBron. Thank you for that renovation.
Yeah, that's like they say about Peyton Manning in Indianapolis changes the skyline. Took us from the RCA Dome, which was a good home field advantage because it was like the sound of a jet engine taking off, in terms of volume. But there's no arguing that Lucas Oil Stadium is without a doubt a better venue for professional football in Indy.
That's the jealousy for me too, not living somewhere cool, just to be like, hey, Adam, what'd you do yesterday? Nothing. Went to the freaking Cavs game, same old.
Yeah.
The coolest thing we've done, or at least me, the Titans-Chiefs game was probably the coolest. I mean, we'll go to some Western basketball or Western football, and it's just something to do.
That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Just gets you out of the house, right?
Yeah.
Nothing you see there is happening on ESPN, Sports Center.
Go down to the hot rods. we have a single A team here, Mike, called the Hot Rods.
Yeah.
So
I think they could probably beat the Guardians this year. So who are the
Guardians is like Commanders. I still haven't quite.
You don't like that name? I figured you would dig that name. Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean,
kind of.
It's fine.
Kind of sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
As my kids call it,
right?
Huh?
It's got like the G, and it's got like these wings around a ball, and it kind of looks like it's throwing a fastball or a
nice.
a split finger fastball. So that logo is growing on me. But when you're fielding barely major league players and your payroll is 40 million, you're not going to have a good time.
$40 million. So that's like one Josh Allen.
Yeah.
You've got one Josh Allen worth of a baseball team.
Mike, Josh had a split finger in high school. He was nasty.
I definitely did not. Unless you're talking about split finger like sunflower seeds on the bench.
White Lightning.
White Lightning.
Shout out.
The legend lives on. Well, Mike, let's jump into the draft talk here, what the people came for. And we're going to kick things off with your top 5 guys at each position. I know we're talking sleepers tonight, but we do want to give a little bit of love and recognition to the guys who should be at the top of draft boards, at least as it stands here. We're recording this on March 29th. It's going to drop about a week later. So here at the beginning of April, where things stand. So let's kick things off with the most popular position for IDP, Mike. Your top 5 rookie linebackers.
Everybody loves linebackers. So number 1, I've got Chad Muma. Number 2, Christian Harris. Number 3, Devin Lloyd. Number 4, Leo Chanel. And 5, Nakobi Dean. And Dean can kind of come off the 5, 6. He could flutter around my top 5. I only really put him in just because I removed Damone Clark from my board. I'm probably not going to have him really anywhere. Love his talent, but apparently he had spinal fusion surgery. I don't like that at all. I mean, anything related to the neck or the back is scary, and spinal fusion, I'm certainly not an MD, and that just doesn't sound good. Might have a productive few years, but then who knows what happens after that. I mean, might be one of those, like, if he falls in the late rounds of a rookie draft, and depending on your tolerance for risk, but those are my 5. And like I said, Clark, I think, is off. I got my top 5-ish rookie DL edges. Really 1A and 1B, Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau. Don't overthink Thibodeau. Like, it looks like every mock drafter and everybody is like, I've seen Thibodeau anywhere between like 2 and like dropping. So don't overthink Thibodeau. Just, if he's there, take him. If you need him, take him. So Hutchinson and Thibodeau are 1A, 1B. Trayvon Walker is 3. I got Jermaine Johnson at 4. I have David Ojabo at 5. Not going to let the torn Achilles deter me. Cam Akers set a high bar, so hopefully that's kind of what people follow in terms of recovery. So I think he's still worth a pick. 6, I got Nick Benito, and 7, Cameron Thomas. And then my top 5 DBs, I've got Kyle Hamilton. Don't pay attention to the 40 time. Just don't pay attention to it. It doesn't matter. His tape and his film and his tape are fantastic. Number 2, Reed Blankenship. 64% of his snaps were in the box of the slot, so he does play near the line of scrimmage. Daxton Hill, out of Michigan. He played a lot of slot, but he's listed as a safety, so he's being looked at as a safety. So if he's one of those guys that has the safety designation and he plays a lot of slot, that could be beneficial. For Jalen Petre, 97% of his snaps last year were on the line of scrimmage.
Wow.
He also played on the edge and the slot. Big upside as a pass rusher with a 25% quarterback pressure rate and a 10.1% tackle rate. So Petre has huge upside, in my opinion. And then we have Jaquan Brisker. I think he's a true box safety. He had 433 box snaps and a heat seeker, good ball hawk, and physical. So those are my top 5 at each position.
I love it. And I have to ask, Mike, because the one linebacker name that I've heard jump out, and maybe it's just because it's Georgia, is Nakobi Dean. So are you seeing Dean kind of at around the same area that you have him, the 5th best linebacker, or is this maybe where you're kind of moving him down on your personal board?
I'm moving him down because he's a don't get me wrong, really good football player, but I don't know if the IDP production may be there. I just don't know. Like, that's why I love Chad Muma. He's going to get a lot of Logan Wilson comps because of where he went to school. They both went to the same school, and Muma was a tackle machine. So I'm trying to look at pretty much who the guys are going to get the tackles. Dean, good football player, but I think that's kind of where I'm worried a little bit. So, but definitely the upside is there. I mean, that whole Georgia defense, just tons of talent. It's insane, the talent that they developed and brought out this year.
Yeah, Bobo, I'm curious, as you've done sort of your initial look at rookies from this class, is there any name here on this list that Mike has put together that you're like, ooh, I've got my eye on this guy in particular?
Well, I mean, Muma for sure, especially because, we're going into year 3 of Logan Wilson, and Logan Wilson could potentially be a top 5 linebacker, I would say, in IDP this year. He's really coming around for the Bengals, and kind of like Muma, I feel like has done as well, just racking up tackles there at Wyoming. And I know it's, smaller school, but they're both about 6'2", 6'3". They're both in the 230, 240 range, and just tackle-heavy guys. I have seen where the Atlanta Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys look like they were at Muma's pro day.
Oh, nice.
So that would be pretty cool to either of those spots. Obviously, with Foye exiting Atlanta, could learn there with Deion Jones. And then the Cowboys, I know they brought LVE back, but they still need a ton of help.
They need help.
Linebacker.
I think linebacker is a position to me. There's probably a reason you've seen them linked to Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
And I'd say they probably – I think it's between them and the Rams as far as where B-Wags ends up going.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah. So, Addy, I want you to, as best you can in your expert medical opinion, describe what happens during spinal fusion surgery.
Oh, boy, you're just hammering away, hoping – just praying that something works out.
Just I picture like an acetylene torch, and you're just kind of heating up both ends, and you're just kind of mushing it together like Play-Doh.
Yeah, there's heating involved as well, but there's a lot of hammering.
There's
too.
a lot of hammering and a lot of praying.
I mean, is it as bad as it sounds? Serious? I mean, honestly,
Yes, spinal fusion. Peyton, I think, got spinal fusion, didn't he?
Yeah.
Some sort of. Pretty sure that's what he had.
He was able to play, but he wasn't.
But he wasn't a linebacker.
Definitely not.
He wasn't like putting his head.
He could
into
not. Yeah, he
people.
couldn't. He couldn't look.
Yeah, he was like Batman. He literally couldn't turn his head. Yeah, it made his neck longer somehow. They just
really
stuck a couple extra vertebrae in there.
They took some bone from his forehead and
it's made his neck much wider. It's like sticks out in one spot.
So let's get back to the edge talk, because this is just what everybody wants to talk about. But so let's just say we got a typical 5-round rookie draft, and we're gonna probably have to talk a little bit of the offensive guys here over the next couple months, just because it's gonna bleed into some of the mocks that we're doing with Adam on Sleeper. Everybody just kind of wants to know the offensive side of the ball because of where, they need to start looking at these edge guys. Because if you want my early offensive opinion, I think the running backs are weak. I think the wide receivers are deeper than people think. And I think Willis could be a nice dart throw in the first or maybe mid-second.
Do you think any of these rookies these IDPs sneak into the first round?
So that was essentially going to be my question there for Mikey. Is give me Mikey Dubs. Which one are we going? We going Aiden? I know you've got Aiden here first, but and you've also got here Thibodeau. Don't overthink it. So Mike, are you lying to us, Mike?
Yeah, I'm just throwing the scent off. So hopefully anybody that's listening I'm in the leagues with are not gonna. We'll go the opposite of what I say. Yeah, I mean Hutchinson he's violent, and Thibodeau he's going to get a lot of attention, but I think he's a real deal.
Where would you rank those two in comparison to like last year's edge guys?
Oh God, they'd be same. They'd be in a tier of their own. They'd be in a tier of their own.
They'd be in a tier above Jalen Phillips, Odafe Owe, Aziz
Ojulari,
Kwity
Pay.
So you'd have those two, Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson, in like tier 1, and then the rest of these guys from 2021 in tier 2.
Okay, so let's run it back again. What about in terms of like Chase Young? Because Chase Young in our rookie draft in the XFL,
he went first
106.
round. Was it 106?
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot it was that early.
In a really nice offensive draft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is there a chance, Mike, based on landing spot, that you could see Kayvon Thibodeau leapfrogging Aiden Hutchinson in your ranks?
Let's see. I mean, if he gets on kind of a base 43 where he's like an edge, then yes. And again, if he gets in that spot where it's like immediate playing time, like for example, if Jacksonville took him, I mean, that would
opposite.
He'd be
Josh
probably
Allen.
my number. Yeah, he'd be my number 1.
Wow.
I mean, if he ends up falling to a team, say he lands even with the Eagles, I think that would probably be a really good spot. I mean, you'd got Thibodeau, then you'd get Reddick, and then you have Sweat. I mean, you have those 3. I mean, that's nice. An insane trio to think about. So, but yeah, I mean, if he went 1 overall, I think even if he went to the Giants, I think potentially that could flip him. But I think even if Hutchinson went to the Lions, that would probably be obviously the ideal spot.
I think the guy that's at 1. Yeah, the guy that I think from the buzz I'm hearing, the guys I listen to, the betting odds in Vegas, Trayvon Walker is actually the dark horse number 1 overall pick because of Trent Baalke becoming enamored with these eye-popping metrics. And does he deserve to be the number 1 overall pick? Maybe, maybe not. But does that kind of vault him up the ranks as well if Jacksonville takes that big of a swing at the 101, Mike?
I think he might still be a risk because, I mean, if people are drafting him based on measurables or some of the other things, then I don't like basing things off the measurables. I mean, the measurables can confirm, but even if he landed with Jacksonville, I still think I'd rather have Hutchinson or Thibodeau just slightly ahead of Walker.
Gotcha.
What about Mike? So Hutchinson and Thibodeau are obviously going to be your first 2 IDPs off the board. If
Hutchinson and Thibodeau are gone, sure, and they leave me the linebackers, then I'm going to take the linebackers and trust that the info that I've gathered and what I've seen will lead me to the right edge players.
So let's go ahead and get into Kyle Hamilton as well, because you look at a lot of these Daniel Jeremiah mocks. Top 10 is not really too far fetched for where a lot of these execs really like Kyle Hamilton. So
4 through 10 is where his just kind of the sweet spot has been.
Yeah. So pat on the back. I famously took Jeremy Chin at like 310 a couple years ago and thought I had just won the lottery. But Kyle Hamilton over under 310 in a rookie draft. Are you going to take him ahead of that? Is that about right?
I think he goes second round.
You think so?
If he gets that top 10 pedigree.
Yeah, I think if he goes to get ahead of 310. And again, but really based on, again, your positional needs.
Sure.
But yeah, I think he goes 310 or higher.
I think you're probably right, because I do think a lot of this year is, and we've talked about it on the pod, and we've looked at a little bit of the offensive side of it, but it's just not very deep on offense. I mean, there's going to be 2 okay rounds of offensive picks. Then you're going to have some of these good IDPs in the 3rd, but then the 4th and the 5th, we'll talk about some of your sleepers and stuff tonight. But, man, offensively, it just seems kind of.
Is it just wide receiver heavy? Is it just because I think it's the quarterbacks. Or is it because of the quarterback stink or like
the quarterback stink? But to me, I don't love any of the running backs. I like Breece Hall. I think he could be
Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker,
sure.
and the wide receivers. From what I've heard, it sounds like it's a just pick your Baskin Robbins flavor. Yep. Like, what do you want for your team? Do you want the big guy that's like the jump ball? Do you want the good slot receivers?
And a lot of injuries out of a lot of them.
Yes,
too.
A lot of guys with like ACLs and nursing injuries coming in. So I think it lacks a little bit of that offensive sizzle. But what it does not lack is IDP sleepers. So let's get into, Mike, your first sleeper, a linebacker from Georgia, and we're not talking Nakobi Dean. Who are we kicking things off with here?
I got Channing Tindall. linebacker from Georgia.
It's Channing Tatum, Mike.
Channing Tatum's
dude.
brother, yeah.
Crap.
He's hot.
There goes all my credibility. Josh, you're carrying the show.
Oh, thanks, Bobby. You've put this on my shoulders now. So Channing Tyndall, tell us about Channing.
Slightly faster 40 than Dean. And I think he seems better sideline to sideline. That's just what my eyes tell me. My 45-year-old eyes. So there's my age drop.
There we go. Bobby was closest.
Really good plus size, and he's not afraid of contact. There was a play I recorded last year. Running back gets the ball, goes to the right, and I think there was a player playing on the edge, and he thought he had him into sights. Tyndall, like the flash, comes like right behind him and makes the tackle, and the guys like his teammates like, wait, what? I mean, he just boom. Goes. Not afraid of contact. Will take on the blocks and actually kind of moves people back. Really good tackle efficiency. So 14.1% and missed a tackle in only every 14.4 attempts. So I don't think he's going to leave points on the field for you. He wraps, takes you down. You're not going to escape once he's got you. Not a whole lot of experience though. I think this year was actually his first year of a full-time role. So that might scare off GMs, but dude's a football player, and that's really what you want. He will run into congestion, so he won't take kind of a clear path. So sometimes he'll just run into congestion. So hopefully that can be coached up a little bit. So I think he's mostly going to probably be like a weak side, right side linebacker, but his athleticism, loved it. Just played like a rabid pit bull against the run and just loved what I saw.
Faster than Nakobi Dean, might be better sideline to sideline than Nakobi Dean. Sounds
Dean
like
and Tyndall are going to be. I think a lot of people are going to go Dean maybe over Tyndall, but I don't think. I think I'm talking myself into having Tyndall top 5, but I don't think he's being talked about. I don't think.
So, are we going to buy the Channing Tatum dip here? Or the discount on Channing Tatum, Bobby, instead of paying the sticker price for Nakobi Dean?
Hey, a couple years ago, a lot of people drafted Pat Queen over
Joe Phillips.
There you go. Jacob Phillips. You know about him, don't you, Mike?
I do. Hurt.
Hurt. Pain.
I think you're right.
And they re-signed Anthony Walker, so I don't know if that's telling on what they think about Phillips, but
it's not good for him.
Not good.
Not in 2022.
Probably not great. Not great for Pat Queen either. But yeah, you're right. So the game you're talking about, Mike, is the Clemson Georgia game.
That's right. Yeah, it was Clemson. Yep. That's what I figured.
This dude's closing speed is pretty insane. Oh my gosh! I mean, I'm no scout, but sitting here just
you know speed. You don't need to be a scout to know speed.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of like early Roquan years.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that vibe at all, Mike. But
it's a good comp.
His closing speed is fast, and he seems to be a pretty sure tackler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's I'm gonna have to put a little asterisk over here beside Mr. Channing.
Bobby is furiously copying and pasting into his personal Slack channel. So let's keep things rolling here, Mike. This next guy out of the University of Cincinnati, shout out the Bearcats, was actually requested on Twitter. So I'm glad we're getting to talk about Darian Beavers, linebacker from the University of Cincinnati. What did you like as you studied Mr. Beavs?
Measuring up I think I was like one of those true weak side linebackers. He bulked up though, went from 235 to 255 from his junior to senior year. So definitely put on some weight, definitely put on some mass. He's got a good frame. He's got good lateral movement, and plus he's a plus pass rusher. So from the outside. So again, there's some of that big play upside. He had an 18.6% quarterback pressure rate, 11 combined QB hits and sacks. He had a sub-7 3-cone drill. So for like an edge guy or someone that's going to blitz, you love to see a sub-7 3-cone drill. Sub-7, love to see it. Really good run defender, 12 tackles for a loss, 13.2% tackle rate. Processes plays quickly. Kind of a bit rough on change of direction. He's not smooth. Average in coverage, but I think he can cover and hang with tight ends. So I think that's pretty big. Good length at the line of scrimmage. And I think his length also kind of will help make up for some of the lack of some of the athletic traits. But I think he can kind of settle into a nice weak side linebacker. The reason why I don't like comes because I'll say, kind of like a Levante David-ish type guy. I think, again, if he settles in and finds himself in the right spot, I think he can be a starter, maybe not this year, just because I don't know how, again, rookies have been all over the place the last couple of years, but I think he's a nice shortish, long-termish investment. So maybe within the next few years, I think he can be pretty close to, full-time guy without playing, over 90% of the snaps.
So it's a guy that you want to just stash him and wait for that investment to pay off.
Yep.
Maybe year 2, year 3. Eddie, we're going to talk about some guys. This draft has some fun names. We got Sauce Gardner out of the Ville. We got a guy coming up here, probably my favorite name in the draft. I'm not going to spoil it. But
do you want me to go to him right now? I don't have a problem going to one right now.
We're saving him. We're saving him for the end here. But you gotta love that this dude's last name is Beavers. I felt I was trying to figure out how to phrase it to say we're going to be talking Beavers with Mike Woellert on the show tonight when I was responding to this guy on Twitter.
You might get slapped with a explicit content on YouTube or something. You don't want that.
Yeah. So we love this guy's last name. We take these things into account. We can't ignore the fact that somebody has an awesome last name.
Last name, what they, their drip, they wearing visors, what type of arm sleeves they got.
Oh, I love visors. Oh, I love a good visor.
We do too.
Is this the guy here, Bobo? Wow. Number 0 with a visor. Some really nice tats.
Tat sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
That's a good-looking player.
We like it.
Addie's got some stars in his eyes right now. I think he may have his LB1.
What landing spot would elevate Beavers for you, Mike?
He's probably what? Is he like a 3rd round pick for you? Maybe. Yeah.
Probably a
third round in the actual NFL draft.
He's probably looking like 3rd to 5th.
Okay.
I think what's happening with some of these linebackers is I think the linebacker position is tremendously undervalued.
Yeah.
It's replaceable. And so I don't think you're going to see a lot of these. I think you're going to see a lot of these really good linebackers. I'm going to say, don't worry if these guys go in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. They don't have this high draft capital. I think they're still going to play. I think they're just now looked at as maybe not as high of a value. I think the value obviously is the guy that can get to the quarterback and the guys that can defend the pass. So your corners and your edge rushers. Those are the guys that are making the money right now.
I feel like you can literally look at like every NFL team and be like, yep, they could use a linebacker.
I think every team could.
Who couldn't use a linebacker? Yeah.
Chance Campbell, if he landed on Jacksonville opposite Alucon, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Jacksonville's got nobody at linebacker opposite him. So
I was gonna say, let's move to your next guy, Mike. Chance the Rapper Campbell from Ole Miss. Talk to us about Chance.
Another really good pass rusher, which is really surprising. He's an inside linebacker and still really good pass rusher. 36.8% pressure rate, and they had a decent amount of pass rush snaps. So this isn't like he had a 36% pass rush rate off of like 9 pass rush snaps. And he had a 35% win rate off of his blocks. So he's a smart defender. You love that he's in the SEC. He played over 850 defensive snaps. So this dude can handle the rigors of a full-time role. 850 defensive snaps in the SEC. I mean, that's NFL ready right there. That's right. I don't like the missed tackles. He had a pretty big jump. I don't have the number offhand, but it was a sizable jump on the missed tackles, but still a 13% tackle rate. Had a good impact at the line of scrimmage, 12.5 tackles for loss. Tackle machine. I think he finished with 109 tackles last year. So he's all over the ball. Good instincts, doesn't look out of place. doesn't get lost in traffic, and he doesn't fall for the RPO. So he's going to stand his ground, and he's not going to fall for those RPOs. Really good deceiving sideline to sideline despite a 4.68. Coverage is a little suspect, but 3.4 depth of target, pretty decent as far as yards after the catch. But yeah, I think, like I said, if he lands somewhere like Jacksonville opposite of Lukun, I think that could be a really good spot for him. But yeah, I liked Campbell. I think he, you know, if you don't get some of these guys, like I said, again, it's a good draft of good football players. So, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th round of your rookie draft, take a chance.
Yeah, Eddie, we like the Darius Leonards and Roquan Smiths of the world kind of spoiled us to what rookie linebackers could achieve in their first year. And so we're still looking for that archetype of like, who's the rookie, who's the Micah Parsons, who's the Darius Leonard that could come in, set the world on fire, finish as a top 5 LB. But Mike, it sounds like, at least so far, most of these guys that you've talked about are needing to probably go and be a complementary piece on an NFL defense. And so we should tamp down our expectations a little bit for IDP.
I think that's how a lot of these kids are going to start in the NFL. I thought, you know, with 2021 having kind of a normal offseason, they had a normal training camp, they had normal OTAs, we had a preseason, we had our normal, you know, a normal offseason, but still, you know, Parsons was really the only one that saw a lot of snaps. I mean, we thought Jamin Davis was going to come in, and he obviously he didn't. So the rookies were tough, and I don't need to talk about Arizona because they don't exist.
We're all mad about it. We're all upset.
Yeah, everybody knows Arizona, what happened, but yeah, you kind of hope for the best and prepare for the worst with some of these guys, and just kind of hope that. But I think like the Darius Leonard rookie year of 168 tackles, 170 tackles, or whatever it is that he got his rookie year, I'm not projecting that, or I'm not counting on that again until something changes with some of these guys. I think also with the wild card, the additional wild card, there's more teams involved, and I think maybe they want to trust and lean on veterans a little bit more than these rookies. So I don't know. I think that's also changed things a little bit.
If you kind of look back to over the last couple of years, man, we've overdrafted a lot of linebackers.
Yes, I learned my lesson last year with Jamin Davis.
Adam has never overdrafted a linebacker.
I haven't.
He drafts
I continue to overdraft. I continue to overdraft. You thought I'd learned my lesson with Baltimore linebackers with Arthur Brown back in 2013, but no, continue to do it.
Shout out to our mock where Maddie, where Addie's over here going RB, not even 0, just -4.
Yeah, Addie, explain yourself.
We got a lot of people doing the same thing, though. We got a lot of people that are kind of, I think they tuned into last week's episode.
They heard you were going 0 IDP, and they're just trying to.
Seriously, there's like 3 people in there doing the same, so I've had to pivot off of it.
They beat you at your own game.
People learning.
Yeah.
And Addie, rookie line, aren't you the one who started #Zaven season?
Yes. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Hopefully none of these guys
interrupt
get drafted.
None of these guys cancel Zaven season.
Shout out Macri for last year calling the Zaven pick right before it happened as we're watching it. And he's like, man, this is really going to hurt Isaiah Simmons when Zaven Collins goes to Arizona.
Yeah.
When there hadn't really been a whole lot of buzz on
Marcy.
Zaven Collins to Arizona.
Yeah, but I mean, just think about Kenneth Murray, Pat Queen, Isaiah Simmons,
Devin Bush,
Zaven Collins, Devin Bush. Even Devin White kind of had a down year compared to 2020 last year. Linebackers are just something else, man. I literally think that if you have a linebacker who does well the year before, sell him, just shoot him to the moon.
That's why you saw Macri sell Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Got himself a first-round pick.
I will say I did go by Jordan Brooks, and I gave a 2nd and a 4th for him. And he was worth every penny.
That sounds like a value.
It's a
great
trade,
right?
It's a great trade.
Yeah. Well, speaking of second-year linebackers, I think I got Ernest Jones. Unless anything happens, I got Ernest Jones projected at 962 snaps.
Let's go, Mike. I love that. Let's leave Wagner down there in Dallas. Let Johnny and them hang on to B-Wags.
Let him tank all the Micah. Well, maybe that would actually help Micah. Who knows?
Me and my boy Evan, we're full on Ernest Saves Christmas. We're here for Ernest Jones season.
And in Seattle, I'm all in on Cody Barton season. I got him at over 1,100 snaps, so I'm all in on Cody Barton season.
Cody Barton season.
Wow.
Doesn't have the same ring as Zaven season.
Adam's over here thinking that it's a Jamal Adams season again.
I want people to understand out there, everyone in the community understand we have no idea how Dallas is going to use Micah Parsons.
Yes.
We have no idea.
Not sure Dallas knows.
So quit asking. Put the Nick Saban drop in there if you would, Josh.
I'll get right on that. I have no idea.
Please, you
what
got
you're
30
talking
seconds,
about,
Josh.
But I will.
You don't know that one? That's a classic.
Yeah, that sounds like one that we need on the board. Just stop asking.
That's a good one. I know.
I'm not going to stop asking you about these linebackers, though, Mike. We've got a couple more here on the list. The next one, we're keeping it in the SEC, going down to the Auburn Tigers. Who is next on your list?
Nakobi McClain. What stood out to me last season, recorded more solos than assists, so he is usually first around the ball. He was a tackle machine for Auburn in 2021, and actually has been a really solid tackler last 2 seasons. 208 tackles over the last 2 seasons for Auburn, so you got to like those numbers. Needs to improve the tackling and needs to use his hands and just like not dive. He kind of tends to just kind of throw himself at the ball carrier, so hopefully kind of just uses his natural ability to make solid tackles. A little thin, so hopefully he can bulk up 10 or 15 pounds. He chase downs plays, but he's got really good chase down speed, good awareness under the ball. I think he's going to start as a special teamer, though, but I think he can develop into a full-time contributor. Just needs to improve his man coverage.
Love that. Nakobi, another great name here. Auburn linebacker. This is not a dude. So, Mike, I'm curious your process. This is not a dude that I've heard a lot of publicity about. As you're starting to like research rookie linebackers, how do you go about? Do you have a list that you work off of? Do you just kind of bounce around until you find guys? Like, what's your process like for scouting these rookies?
I like to. Well, one, I just for me, since I like when I'm looking at linebackers, I'm looking at tackles. So I just kind of see what the tackles are like. And then just kind of scour along and just, I'm like, all right, well, this guy had a lot of tackles. I'll kind of bring up some of his highlights, some of his tape, and just kind of look at that and just kind of see what others are saying and seeing if I missed anything or seeing if things matched. And that's kind of how things are brought along. But yeah, I definitely like to look at the tackles. That's what I look at. That's usually what butters the bread in IDP.
Advisors. Second.
Mm-hmm.
What was that, Addy? You were muted because you were eating a Reese's.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Obviously tackles first, but then visors would be second.
Absolutely.
That's a major intangible.
Sometimes first, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, depends on how sick the visor is. Is it like one of those like I love the University of Miami when you get like kind of that orange green kind of visor going on.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel has a good visor.
Yeah, it's sunny down there, Josh.
They got to block the sun.
Hey, here's a good question: are they polarized? You think?
Probably.
Are they prescription? I've thought about that too. Like, what if a guy would wear contacts or glasses? Could you just get a prescription visor?
It'd be awesome.
Be nice. You wouldn't have to worry about the contact popping out.
I'd just wear the helmet around all the time.
I would wear one doing the pod.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would be amazing. We could
embed the microphones into the helmets.
Could we make that happen?
It would sound
Can you put visors over the camera lenses?
That would be sick.
Ooh.
It'd be like an Instagram filter for the whole Sode Shack.
Like it's more attractive.
Bobo, speaking of Auburn,
Don't think that would help.
Did you see the that's we'll take that. That is true. Did you see the Cam Newton news this morning that he is waiting and holding out to sign with a team that can win a Super Bowl, but is bad enough to start Cam Newton?
Cam, are you listening? What are we doing, Cam?
And we love Cam. We're big fans of Cam.
Big Cam fan.
Go Cam.
Akers and Newton. And Curl. And Chancellor. Just big. Hey, we can make a hell of a team out of some Cams.
That's a great Cam team.
I think we talked about that before. Chancellor, that was a good one. But yeah, Cam Newton, that one little 2-week sample size, it was cool. I'm back.
I know, that was fun.
I'm back.
I really enjoyed that.
Very good gifts.
Victory.
Yeah,
great
PJ
gifts out of
Walker
that.
was cool, but move on. As far as Auburn's concerned, I'm more worried about that tree. Did that tree die? Y'all know about
The one that got poisoned.
The dude who poisoned it? Did it ever die?
Oh, yeah. I remember
they were trying to
that.
save it last I heard on Tumor's Corner, I think it is.
That's
but
Yes,
it was looking grim.
Y'all been to like a real college I
have been to an Ole Miss tailgate.
I got you. I've been
and
to Clemson.
It's insane.
Nah, just like Lexington for UK.
Okay, that's that's treading.
That's
not that big a deal.
not real.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's not real SEC.
Sorry,
tailgate.
Adam.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I went to the.
I
Ole
was
Miss.
blacked out though.
I can only imagine. Maybe
It's true.
Yeah, you can only imagine what that tailgate was
Which
like.
camera's on me here, Josh?
All right, Mike. Last rookie sleeper for the linebacker position. We are going over to Oklahoma. Next guy on your list is.
Oh boy, this might be not safe for work if I say this wrong. Brian Asamoah.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that instead of Asamoah.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
That sounds good. It's Samoa.
Yeah,
To be continued.
yeah. This is the analysis we're bringing to.
Speaking of which,
Oh, you got some?
He's got some.
I
Yeah, he
do.
held it up.
What are we eating on, Samoas?
oh, not right now. Come on, I can't. I'm 45. I can't eat past 9 o'clock anymore.
All right, end of the
He
episode
saves it
though.
for breakfast. Yeah.
Exactly.
Only
Beginning
for
of the day,
breakfast.
man. Beginning of the day. He's a see ball, get ball type of linebacker. Very active. If you've seen Happy Feet, kind of like the Penguins and Happy Feet, really, really moves. And he's got a cornerback like back pedal, so he can again make up ground. And unlike some of the other linebackers, he will take the path of least resistance to get to the ball. So he'll kind of just take that straight line and get to the ball. A 2-to-1 solo to assist ratio last season, which is good for me. Love to see the solos outweigh the assists. So gotta love that. 14.6% tackle rate, cut down his misses from 2020 to 2021, just 7 missed tackles last season. Just needs to increase the tackle area. He's got looks like a little bit of a low radius. He can get bit by elusive backs. He's going to get out muscled, so I'm hoping he can bulk up. Kind of starts to build up steep bead, doesn't read and react, but I think a lot of that can just kind of be coached up, and I think it'll be learned once he gets up to game speed.
Looking at this list, fellas, I think Mike just picked the most interesting names. You have Channing Tatum, Tyndall, Darian, let's talk Beavers, Chance the Rapper Campbell.
You figured out
Kobe,
my process.
John McClain, and Brian Cookies Asamoah. So I think we've cracked the code here.
Cracked
on
my
what
process.
Mike was sleeping on some good linebacker names, I think, here, Addy.
I love it. I mean, let's go ahead and do it before we get into the next set. I think it's a nice little. Let's go ahead and do it. We're on Samoa talk. Mike, so are you a Samoa fan?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
sure.
so what's your power ranking? We'll get back to Samoa talk. What's your Girl Scout power rankings?
Top 3.
My top 3. It's got to be Samoa's, Tagalongs, and that's it. Those are the only 2 I eat.
No Thin Mints.
No Thin Mints. I want to try what looked to be like the cookie with the caramel cluster, like the caramel in the middle with the chocolate drizzle.
Brownie
Those
one.
look really good, and
I've
the
tried
s'mores
it.
look good, and the s'mores look good.
I've tried both. I was privileged to get to try both this past week. Not to brag, but
Privileged.
Humble brag.
right. So I
Again,
tried
big
both.
time and everybody. Nice.
Yeah, the brownie is definitely better. S'mores, man, nothing to write home about. But anyway, Mike, I love that you said Samoa's. That is the correct number 1. I would probably go Samoa's, Thin Mints, and then Tagalongs. But Mike, have you heard of Coconut Dreams? I'm holding them up to the
Those are the
camera right
Keebler
now.
knockoffs.
They are. They are.
They are the
Are they
Keebler
better
knockoffs.
than the
Yes.
Wow.
About the same. They're about.
They're
I cannot tell the difference.
they're very similar. So if you need a Samoa fix during the non-Girl Scout cookies, the what are they? The Coconut Dreams, definitely a good fill-in. And I think Keebler makes the Grasshoppers too, the Thin Mint knockoff.
And it's
So if you
also
need Thin Mints.
it's also important to point out here that listen, I do not like coconut either. This is different. This is toasted coconut. We hate Almond Joys, Mounds, the cakes that are coming out at Easter, we hate all those. These are different. Do not mess up just because you say you hate coconut.
It's the slightest hint of a whisper of coconut flavor.
It's the chocolate and the cookie. It's the chocolate and the cookie that make it. And you get a hint of the coconut, but it's all in the chocolate and the cookie.
It does not deter me as a coconut hater.
The coconut is more of the crunch, really. Kind of gives it the crisp behind it.
Yes.
It's an accent. It's an accent feature.
Well,
those are great.
And the reason you go to something like that is because
economy.
What are they now? I mean,
$5, dude.
For how many?
For like 12 or 15, I think.
Yeah, like 16. Maybe you get a rack, like four racks of 4, or like 4 racks of 5.
That's a rack deep right there.
$4 for what, like 25, 24 of them. Yeah.
Great. And honestly, if you were to blindfold me, I don't know that I could tell you.
No, I don't think I could.
They're both great.
But yeah, we're it's my mission to put the Girl Scouts out of business with the even though I'm pretty sure they're the same company.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
they're gone. No more Girl Scouts. Sorry, girls. So Mike,
canceled.
That was we always have to segue into like snack talk here. It's like it's required.
I mean, come on, we did a whole Pop-Tart episde. So
we did a whole Pop-Tart, 30-minute Pop-Tart segment, which was amazing. So much like picking your favorite Girl Scout cookie, which of these guys that you listed, and we'll wrap up here in just a sec with some more late linebackers to target, but which of these incredibly named linebackers that you've mentioned thus far is maybe your favorite, the guy that you're going to be scooping up more often in rookie drafts?
I think it's probably going to be Campbell and Tyndall. Those are the two I think that are really standing out.
So what are you looking for in this kind of late dart throw sort of linebacker in IDP? Are you looking for the guy who had the most tackles in college, the guy who played the most snaps from the biggest school? Like, what is it that kind of tips you over the edge when you're weighing these guys?
I mean, without having like a complete like model or like score, it's just I'm looking to see kind of a trajectory of productivity from year to year. I want to see snaps, and I want to see tackles. That's kind of it. It's pretty, for me, it's pretty simple. I want guys that are going to get tackles and they're going to get me points. If they can get to the quarterback, that's a great feature. It's a great bonus. So like a guy like Campbell, who had a good pressure rate, and a guy like Beavers, who had a good pressure rate. That's what I'm looking for.
Pick up on how good Josh is. He said a sentence I don't know that I could even think about within a good 12 hours. He said, Mike, which of these guys is tipping the scales for you, and how would you weigh on them or weigh them in?
Did I say that?
I'm like, damn, he just not only said tipping the scale, but he also made the mental connection. Let's talk about weight too. Like, freaking brilliant.
I'm thinking about my weight after eating these Samoas and the candy that we have sitting here at the front of the table now.
No, Josh.
Are you Russell Crowe? Are you Russell Crowe? Beautiful mind, baby.
I am a beautiful mind. That is true. Speaking of beautiful minds here, Mike, give us some more late linebackers that we can keep an eye on. We know these are IDP managers' favorites, so hit us with some more names.
So a few more. Jack Sanborn from Wisconsin. Quay Walker, another Georgia linebacker, real explosive. Brandon Smith from Penn State. Troy Anderson from Montana State. He's interesting. He actually is a converted quarterback. So he's a really good athlete. Wow. And he has really good size, and he was explosive. And then finally, kind of who could be a diamond in the rough. He was at a smaller school, but I think he can hang. DeMarco Jackson from Appalachian State. I think he finds the ball even in clogged gaps. Tackle machine, 120 tackles in 2021. The misses are ugly, not going to lie, but a 17.5% tackle rate.
There you go. Converted quarterback. Bobo, I don't know that I've ever heard I've heard like tight end to offensive line, right? Or like linebacker to safety.
Although my eyes could have deceived me. It could have said CB, but I could have sworn I read quarter.
Either way is probably just as mind-blowing,
Quarterback to defense, like that's quite a jump. Now, we've always heard linebackers sort of like the quarterback of the defense. So
it's very similar to this podcast, though. how much better has learning the defensive side of the ball made you at offensive fantasy football?
Much worse, I would say.
Much worse.
I
I don't pay attention to it.
significantly not as good now at offensive fantasy.
I
Same.
can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I drafted Clinton Portis in the first round of a startup.
That was before you did, Josh. Lying to the listeners.
It don't matter for me. Yeah, it don't matter. Just give me in a draft. I'm gonna tear it up.
Basically basically with being at 4 for 4 with people who ask me, hey, who do you like offensive wise? I'm like, dude, if you subscribe to 4 for 4, just look at John's projections because he's much smarter than me.
Yeah,
that's what I go by, and that's what I go by.
I try not to walk into a draft room with the swaggering bravado of like the Texas 17-year-old who thinks they're going to live forever and is like crushing a beer like Adam carries into every draft. But you do have to admit that the charm and the swagger is undeniable as he holds up the Manscaped lip balm for our viewers on YouTube to check out. So, Mike, let's keep it rolling here as these two idiots try their best to derail this whole episode. I'm not going to let them, though. We're going to move now to the edge guys that you like later in IDP drafts. So who is your first edge sleeper?
Well, we're continuing on with the interesting names with Boye Mafe from Minnesota. Linebacker speed, 4.5740, had a 1.58 split. So I really like looking at the splits sometimes for edge rushers, and I really like the split for Mafe. 16.8% quarterback pressure rate, 7 sacks, 9 hits last season. Had a 25% pass block win rate. What that means, he's basically beating his blockers in around 2 seconds. Stout run defender, just 4 missed tackles last season. So I really liked, he had a really good production from junior to senior year. Very slithery, moves like a snake. His 40 time, I think, is going to allow him to keep up with tight ends in coverage. But please, I hope he doesn't get dropped into coverage. Please just let him get to the quarterback. But he can hang. Really good swim move and a push pull. So he'll grab the tackle or grab his blocker violently and just push him off, and has a really good, a really good push pull. A bit reactive in the run, average burst. He'll kind of get swallowed up by double teams, but what I think can happen with him, he could move to a off-ball linebacker in the future. So something to think about for tackles. And I've actually seen, in terms of comps, I've seen a Rashawn Gary comp. So
okay,
when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I will keep my eye and I will watch a little bit more on him.
Yeah, Addy, has there been many guys, established players in IDP, that have had a better offseason than Rashawn Gary?
I don't think so, man.
Seen his dynasty stock skyrocket. Zadarius Smith is out now, so it's the Rashawn Gary show in Green Bay.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he was 3rd in pressures last year in the NFL. Yeah, he's awesome. He's worthy of being a top 10 edge guy in dynasty now, I think.
Yeah. So if a guy is getting comp to Rashawn Gary,
yeah, man. Looking at his profile, he's awesome. 4.53 40. That's in the 97th percentile of 124.0 speed score. That's 97th percentile. He had a 9.91 relative athletic score. That's out of 10.
Wow.
So this dude's he's up there with, as far as athleticism, he's up there with the best.
That's amazing. Yeah. This is one that, Mike, not always, unlike the NFL draft coverage, do you get deep into the defensive weeds. I think programming-wise, producers probably like more focus on offense. Is kind of what drives the ratings and the interest. But I will say, Boye Mafe is a player that I have heard talked up. So edge rushers we mentioned, pretty solid position group. A lot of smart analysts I've been listening to are saying that's the strongest position in this draft class. Do you see Boye Mafe, because of the strength of this edge class, going second round in the NFL draft, third round? Where does he land kind of in this pecking order?
Yeah, probably second, third. That's where I see him. The one thing I know about the draft is to expect the unexpected. If he landed in the first, it would not shock me.
Wow. I mean, we see that, right? Tryon Shoyinka sneaks in there. Peyton Turner sneaks in there. Wasn't a lot of talk about those guys being first round picks.
And I mean, you're more likely to take a shot, I think, with those into the first round picks because you get that extra year with the option.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, you can develop somebody like that who maybe might not be ready immediately.
Quarterbacks and edge rushers. That's why I think you see
Those are
certain
premium
positions.
Yep.
Yeah, premium positions go at the end of the first.
And a lot of those edge rushers that were drafted last year are panning out. The ones we've already mentioned: Odafe Owe, Jalen Phillips,
Kwity Paye,
Ojulari, Greg Rousseau, Tryon Shoyinka. I mean, none of those guys I don't want on my dynasty roster right now.
None of them have
none of those guys have lost any value, right?
Absolutely.
They've all probably gained value.
No, they've either held value.
Picks.
Yeah. They've either held their value or have gained.
I think Mafe kind of fits that bill. I don't know where you would rank him. I don't really think it matters in terms of the 2021 class, but he's a guy. If he's hanging around mid-third, mid-fourth, just depending on your league and everything, and landing spot. Dude sounds like a freak. A lot of these dudes sound stupid athletic.
They all are.
This next guy,
that's because we're
seems that
not.
way too.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not. So
our relative athletic score of
0.008.
negative
6.9.
Speaking
shot
of
a 78 today, guys.
Yeah, let's not overlook the golf game. Relative athletic score here.
Speaking of freaks, though, this next guy I believe is extra freaky. Let me read this for you, Mike. You take this one off. Let me read your stuff here, and then I want you to talk a little bit about him. So, George Karlaftis, no F in there, or there is an F in there. Edge for Purdue. Mike has him here as one of the top edge rushers in the country. Mike doesn't think that he's getting talked about enough. 16.1% QBP in 2021. He had 14 QB hits. He has a plus bull rush here. Well built, has twitchiness.
That means he's good on Twitch.
Stiff hips. We need loose hips.
We need loose hips. He is a little stiff, but
he's a little stiff in the hips.
He's got the stiff hips. I can relate.
Josh lacks the rhythm.
Get this guy to a chiropractor. Let's go.
Loose hips, sink ships.
He does seem to lose track of the ball against the run at times. Beats double teams, though. NFL ready and has seen comps to Sam Hubbard.
That's not too bad in terms of a comp, Mike.
So, Mikey, you took this one off. Tell me what you like about George.
It's his. I think it's just his bend, and I think it's just his overall athleticism. Football player again. I think he's built well, and I just think his overall game just translates.
Mm-hmm. Is this true that he had a 6-7-8 3-cone drill?
Wow. That's really fast.
That's really fast.
That sounds like Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know that he participated in the 3-cone.
Okay.
George.
Maybe this is just his pro day numbers. I don't know if it was.
I will say though, Aiden Hutchinson, I'm pretty sure that's his. He ran a 6.73.
Yeah, 6.78 did it. Yeah, Aiden did a 6.78.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard that Aiden Hutchinson, people are just kind of sleeping on how athletic this dude is. Like had a similar, I think it was 3-cone to like Von Miller.
Yes.
In terms of that sort of
tweet about exactly that.
That was from the Athletic Football Show this morning. Listening to that, but why? Now here's the question, Mike. If you don't think he's getting talked about enough, the question is why? Is it just because there's so many good edge rushers in this draft?
I think I don't know if I remember something I read that was causing him to fall or not get looked at. I don't remember what it was. Sorry, my 45-year-old brain can't process everything all at once. But there was something that was going on, and I don't remember. It wasn't anything that you need to, be worried about. It wasn't any like off-field issues or anything like that. So there was just something, maybe in measurables that maybe was causing him to fall. But again, he's a football player, and he's a good one. And I think, like I said, game translates, and that's what you want.
So Karlaftis did have a 6-7-8 3-cone at Purdue's pro day.
Pro day.
Nice.
Yeah. But a 4.7 140, which is fine.
That's fine.
Solid.
Yeah.
What was it? It was a 6 what?
6.78 3 cone.
So, all right. So Aiden Hutchinson was 6'7" Von Miller was 6'7", TJ Watt was 6'9", Harold Landry 6'8", Max Crosby 6'9", Joey Bosa 6'9", Owe was 6'9", Daniil Hunter was 6'9", Brian Burns 7'01". So yeah, I mean it's one of those deals. It seems like a lot of good players have pretty good 3 cones.
Yeah.
So it's one indicator. But yeah, Trayvon Walker, looking at him, he actually had the highest relative athletic score, which shout out at MathBomb on Twitter. It's a great follow this time of year. But Trayvon Walker, he also ran a 6.89 3 cone, so that's great. But yeah, he was 98th percentile in pretty much all of his metrics on player profile, profiler, and yeah, again 9.99 RAS score.
That's basically
that's like one of the best all time.
That's like a perfect athlete. Like you really can't get much more athletic than that.
And also we talk about these sleepers, and I know I talk about my top 5. I think it's safe to say that some of these guys are probably going to make it. We'll bump some guys out now that they'll make it. Like I said, I think some of these sleepers though. There some of them just you see the normal top 5. I still think the guys that I do have are good, but yeah, I think these are really good players to draft if maybe your league overvalues some of the other guys.
Seems like it's a really good draft. For rookie drafts in dynasty leagues, seems like it's really good to have like those mid-round picks this year, the 3rd, 4th, because I mean it seems like it's pretty deep IDP wise.
Yep, I think so.
While we're on RAS, Mike, let's talk about somebody who will be ultra valuable in the XFFL because we're a defensive tackle premium league. We have a defensive tackle spot. You can run a DeForest Buckner. You can run an Aaron Donald. You can run a Christian Wilkins. So let's talk about Jordan Davis running a 4.78 40, a 1.68 10 split, a 2.8 20 split. He has a relative athletic score of 10 U.
10. So he is the perfect athlete.
He is the perfect 10.
He's
He
six-
is.
For his size, yes, right?
He's 6'6", 340 pounds. Out of Georgia, has a 32-inch vertical and over a 10-foot broad jump. The man's 340 pounds.
Wow.
That is a guy you do not want talking. You do not want to talk about that guy's mom.
So tell me a little bit about Jordan Davis, because I especially in XFFL, I really love deep tackles. I could talk about deep tackles every episode. I just really enjoy watching them.
Go for it.
But
I honestly I didn't really look at tackle a whole lot. So it basically I just looked at Jordan Davis and that was pretty much it.
Where could you see him going in this draft?
He's a first round guy.
Oh, I mean,
right,
in the draft, in the actual NFL draft, yeah, first round guy.
yes, that's
top 15.
I think top 20.
I think top 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know top 15, but top 20.
I know it's not like a heavily,
valuable position. Yeah. But a guy with that kind of freaky athleticism, somebody's going to fall in love.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
and I think in those D tackle required leagues, he's probably worth like
a premium. Yeah. I mean, you could a DT premium, you could spend a 2nd or 3rd round pick on him.
I was going to say a 3rd round pick, I think, because usually you see D tackles going like 5th round.
Let's just say he comes to one of these little primo spots. Are you comfortable taking him over some of these linebackers, over some of these edges?
No.
You're gonna
I'm
typical
take an edge
draft.
Linebacker.
Okay, we're going edges, we're going LBs, and then we're gonna
Mhm.
let our D tackle fall, even if it's just one of them.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving and we teased it a little earlier.
I got one more edge guy. I got one more edge guy real quick.
You got one more edge guy. Okay. Hit me with it.
Yep. This could be a little bit of a deeper sleeper. Mika Tafua from Utah. Can play both sides, but he's typically a strong side defender. He can move inside. Has a really good burst and has a very nice stab move that he kind of dips and rips. And for those, yes, I did a good demo of a horrible dip and rip.
Dip and rip, knocked his cookies in the floor. He's really cursing himself right now.
21% pass rush win rate and a 16.8% QB pressure rate. I think scouts are the scouts are gonna love the proverbial motor. He doesn't stop. From what I could tell from his pro day video, he had about a 7-second 3-cone drill, but just needs to hit the weight room. He can be a little bit slight, so he's just gonna need to hit the weight room.
Sounds like us, Josh.
Probably end of your draft, depending on how deep your rookie draft is and how far it goes. So, but one of those late round, last round, fill out your roster type guys, and if he hits, you're going to look like a genius.
Mika Tafua. I swear we're going to get to just a normal name here at the end of this conversation.
What's the highest? What's the highest a defensive tackle has been drafted? Can you boys remember? Like,
as a defensive tackle
in your leagues. In
our rookie drafts.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's fourth.
I can't think of when's the last big one? Jeffrey Simmons, Barmore.
Those are both fifth rounders. I'm pretty sure.
Both are fifth rounders.
What about Christian Wilkins? Was
probably
he a
fifth
fourth?
rounder. Maybe undrafted. Kinlaw was also probably fourth or fifth. I'd say.
I think the highest is a fourth. Like, I would be shocked if we went back through our history of our main league and saw a guy in the third.
I could see Jordan Davis being a mid-third.
Jordan Davis, changing that and going
being a first rounder,
being a first rounder.
108.
Adam's got the 103.
Jordan Davis 101.
Jordan Davis 101. You heard it here first, folks. Mike, let's not keep the people waiting any longer. We teased it. The best name in the draft. I'm with you.
Best name in the draft.
Don't at any of us. Look, we love Sauce Gardner. He's a Kentucky boy at the Ville. But this dude here has the sickest name. Who are we talking about, Mike, from Auburn?
This will be for those that watch WWE, this will be the Street Profits' favorite DB in their rookie draft. We want the smoke Monday.
Smoke Monday, not Smoke Tuesday, not Smoke Wednesday.
Monday. We're smoking Monday.
He's starting off the day, starting off the week, smoking, and we absolutely love that about Smoke Monday.
Boy, can you imagine them Monday Night Football games if he's on there?
He comes out in the smoke, and suddenly the universe collapses in on itself.
I got chills.
There's Adam's weekly just case of the chills, Mike.
All I think about is me and Dupree, where he talks about throwing 7 different kinds of smoke.
There's smoke.
Seen that movie?
Yep.
Last
year the DB I fell in love with in terms of the name was Divine Diablo. This year is Smoke Monday.
Oh, Double D. Double D. You love it. Got a nice little off season for Double D as well.
We're gonna be able to put together some sick ass teams as far as names
go. The
all
name squad is
the all name team. Oh boy.
Yeah, Smoke Monday may be the captain.
Savage, Max, Smoke, Divine Diablo.
I mean, holy hell. Is this like a strip club?
Right.
Or
Holy Diablo, team? You mean, right?
Zaven?
I'm going to mute these two, Mike, and I want you to tell me what it is that you love about Smoke Monday.
242 box snaps and 195 in the slot in 2021. So that increased from 2020 when he had 194 box snaps and 174 in the slot. So a good increase. 8% tackle rate, which is a pretty decent number for a DB, with a 2-to-1 solo to assist ratio last season. So again, getting to the ball, making those solo tackles. A 4-year player. So one of those rare 4-year players, steady improvement throughout each, steady production throughout each year, solid hitter, covers ground, good length to make the tackles. He's one of those, I'm using multifaceted. I think multifaceted is a better term and a better description than Swiss Army knife or a movable chess piece. Let's make 2022 the year we stop saying movable chess piece, Swiss Army knife. He's a multifaceted safety.
What about a movable?
One
Swiss
more
Army
year,
knife?
Mike. One more.
Yeah, no. He's not. He's not a movable Swiss Army knife chess piece.
There you go.
He's one of those
He's
multifaceted safeties. Single high, he can run downhill. So he's kind of, like I said, that prototypical NFL safety. He won't turn the ball over, won't get many interceptions, but if he does, he'll try to take it to the house. He had 2 pick sixes between 2021. He had 167 total interception yards. So when Smoke gets the ball, he's going to smoke you, and he's going to try to take the ball to the house. Could use some bulk, just needs to improve man coverage, can kind of missing those fluid hips, but I've seen Justin Simmons comps.
Ooh, baby.
So, Mike, you're trying to tell me where there's smoke, there's fire.
Oh my God!
Ooh.
And here come the dad jokes and the puns, and you're just going to ruin it. You're just going to ruin it.
You think we were in our 40s with these jokes here tonight?
Hey, this may be one of my favorite tweets I've read in a while. This is at Auburn Elvis. I didn't watch the Oscars, but I heard Smoke Monday got ejected for targeting. Hope that gets overturned. I have no idea what that applies to, but I think it's pretty funny. It's 10 o'clock
what was
at night.
in these cookies that you just gave Bobby, Adam? Was there drugs in
Little
these cookies?
smoke.
Smoke Monday. So Justin Simmons, what is it that kept him out of your top 5, Mike? I guess that's a question I have for a lot of these guys. Like, I thought maybe the name alone would give him top 5 consideration, but what is it that knocked him down a little bit?
He's just outside. I think there's a few guys above him that I think are a little bit more in the box, play a little bit more in the box, but Smoke is right there. He's going to be right there.
Latest mock shows they'll Smoke in Indy.
Does it really?
Mm-hmm.
Where's it got him going round?
240th pick.
Which site is this? What mock draft site?
I don't know, Josh. I'm not that far in, buddy.
It's like
what website are you on, Bobby?
I'm on the tweeters.
Oh, you're on the Twitter. Okay.
I can't. I'm in a wormhole, Josh.
He's in a wormhole.
Some random mock draft.
Yeah, some random 300
I like it, though.
picks, mock
Guy
draft.
with messed up ratio. He's only he's following 3,000, but he's only got about 400 followers. Just an absolute loser of a guy, right?
This guy.
You'll love this story, Addie. Allie's ratio for her travel Instagram was all out of whack. I was like, you got to clean that up. I don't know why it's important, but Adam tells me you want a pristine ratio.
It's all that matters.
She went on an unfollow spree, and her Instagram got locked out. Like, they're like, you unfollowed too many people. She's like, Josh, I use this for work.
It's a rookie mistake.
And you got me blocked or, like, locked out of my own Instagram.
You got to be careful. You got to set aside about an hour a day, unfollow just 50 people, and then do 50 more the next day. You can't overdo it because, yes, they think you're a bot.
I think she unfollowed like 200 people in one fell swoop, and Instagram was like, nope, you're blocked.
You're dipping. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you're out of there.
Click the pictures of the seat or the traffic lights, please.
Yeah,
Allie.
exactly. Which one of these has bicycles? I love those.
No, this guy's real. Lead analyst for Sports Illustrated Colts, Zach Hicks.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Zach.
Real human. Thanks, Zach.
Just get us another safety. I would not mind that at all.
Is he verified?
No blue check mark. All right, this was the guy to wrap things up here, Mike. This was the guy I mentioned. This is just the normal guy with like the office job and a 40-hour work week. Brian Cook.
Trying to get by as an accountant.
That's right. Safety for Cincinnati.
This is
He's
probably
doing his
another
best.
guy. Yeah. Another guy who's probably going to move up to my top 5. But 306 box snaps, 167 slot, 11.7% tackle rate, 93 total tackles last season, had a 32% play on ball rate, which led to 11 total interception defended pass total. So he's going to make some plays. Missed a tackle once every 16 and a half attempts. And he seems to step up his game in some of the bigger games. I think he can hang with the big boys. He had 7 solos against Georgia in the 2021 Peach Bowl, 9 tackles and an interception in the 2022 Cotton Bowl versus Alabama, and has a pretty sturdy frame. So probably another guy that I'm probably going to will probably be moving up. Like if you miss on Kyle Hamilton or the other guys that I mentioned, I think Cook is going to be one of those not afterthought, but I think Cook is going to be could end up being one of those top 5 guys at some point. So definitely do not overlook Brian Cook.
I Googled him just to see if he had that like balding, I've got 2 kids, I'm carrying about 40 extra pounds, quiet desperation kind of accounting look. No, this dude has some serious swag to him.
Does he have some drip? Got some good drip?
He's got some drip. He's number 6. The Cincinnati uniforms for football are just filthy.
Yeah, they've always had great uniforms.
Huge fan of the Cincinnati football uniforms, so everyone looks good. Kind of reminds me, looks a little bit like David Johnson, the running back for the Texans. So I'm liking it. He doesn't have the, like, I'm doing my best, but quietly I'm dying inside look that I expected. So I'd say move him into the top 5 as well, Mike.
We don't have Samoa money, just buying coconut dreams.
You are a philosophizer tonight, Bobby.
That's a good one for
I'm
real.
going to put that on a sticker.
Let's put that on a T-shirt. We need some more T-shirts.
So, Mike, you mentioned earlier the linebackers that you would be grabbing probably in most of your rookie drafts from this sleeper list. As you look over all the guys that you have here, is there one that jumps out to you as like, I'm probably going to have this dude on more of my rosters than any other? Is it those linebackers you mentioned?
Yeah, it's the ones that I mentioned, and I'm probably targeting as far as some of the top guys, I'm probably targeting Muma and Chanel more so than some of the other guys. But if I happen to miss out on any of those guys, yes, like Beavers, Campbell, Chance, Tyndall, those are kind of like your secondary lottery tickets. But yeah, I will be honest, I've fallen in love with Chad Muma.
That's his dude. I saw it. I saw you put out a tweet kind of earlier this offseason talking about Muma. It might have been something like Muma may be my number one linebacker for IDP. So I'm with you. I mean, let's ride, Bobo. Why not?
Peg one of these landing spots. You're locking it in, Mike. Which one of these guys is going where? What's your guarantee?
Who do you feel like strong about? Like, is there a team fit for one of these guys? It could be the top 5 guys, the sleeper guys. Who do you just feel like is a match made in heaven?
I think Devin Lloyd fits really well with Philadelphia.
Even with the new Kaiser White edition.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they only signed White to a 1-year deal, I think. So they're not enamored with him.
What about Singleton? Is he gone?
Yeah, he went to Denver.
Okay.
That nasty hair is in Colorado now.
Yep.
A little less greasy water there, I heard.
A little less greasy water, yeah.
You'll fit right in there with the rest of the hippies.
All right. Well, Mike.
Did AJ Johnson sign anywhere?
I know he's still floating out there.
Jesus, there's a lot of good players.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of good players.
Honey Badger's sitting out there. Jadeveon Clowney's sitting out there.
AJ Johnson feels a lot like 2021 Devondre Campbell.
Ooh, Addie, look at you.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Ooh, you like that?
All right. Well, then who's also Denzel? Who's the Denzel Perryman then? Also, since you're
the kind of has been high expectations, washed out with his current team, because AJ Johnson doesn't fit that archetype. He was
he doesn't. He was good. He was
bloomer. Late bloomer who
really
played
good.
well.
Corey Littleton back to the Rams.
You shut your mouth, Bobby. You don't talk.
Actually, Mike, you weren't supposed to ask me a question.
Hey, we do have an episode coming up later this summer, Fantasy Time Machine. We are going to answer questions like who is the Denzel Perryman for 2022. We're going to step into the time machine, come back from the future, and give you the answers.
Yeah,
so that's a good little tease.
I can't even think of the candidates.
Gosh.
I can't either right now.
I say we'll have to do some research. We'll have Aaron do all the research.
For
and
sure.
Then we'll look good when the takes are pristine, 100% accurate. So
Anthony Hitchens?
Yeah, potentially.
Could be.
Gosh, it just sounds so awful.
It does.
It's got to be someone that sounds awful, though, that kind of makes you want to throw up in your mouth a little bit.
Yeah, because no one wanted Denzel Perryman this year.
Yeah.
They were like,
It was an afterthought. Yeah.
How old is Cody Barton?
24
he's
or
younger.
5.
Man, I go back to Seattle, and you might be right, Mike. I don't know if we talked about this on pod or before we started, but people forget, and we'll talk about it, as the season goes on with the, vacated tackles there from Bobby Wagner. But Bobby Wagner was like 3rd overall total tackles last year, and I think Jordan Brooks was 2nd.
Yep.
And that team's gonna suck.
Oh God.
Cody Barton. If they don't add anybody, I mean, Barton is like to the moon. We have Barton season, and we're not talking about Hawkeye. We're talking about Cody.
That was nice. No one got that at this table except for me, Mike, but I liked
it. It was just
I
for you.
it.
I don't care.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was just for you.
I trust it was a good one.
What was it about, Josh?
It's a Marvel ref. You don't get it. You only know the Hulk.
Hey, I'm a Marvel guy.
Hey, I got a good one maybe. Joe Schobert.
Okay. So where did
but
Joe
Schobert was always a good IDP guy though. Perriman wasn't.
I guess that's true.
Damn it, Mike! Quit asking us hard questions.
But Perriman's deal was always like he was banged up.
Ooh, what about Miles Jack? Miles Jack underwhelmed a little bit with, didn't quite meet expectations.
I mean, Devin Bush isn't really a threat there, probably. He might get replaced.
I think it was John that said, or maybe Jace on John's pod said, now we just got 2 guys that are going to be running in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So
maybe we don't know yet. Maybe Denzel Perryman hasn't been
we
signed
need to see
yet.
where some of these guys sign. Because you got to remember, Perryman was a late season addition, right? Like he came in the summer, like June, right? So we'll see.
We all chuckled and laughed and blew it off.
Oh, yeah, Denzel Perryman, the 4th or 5th linebacker on the board. No, the 4th or 5th linebacker overall for a long stretch last year. So
Mike, who is your IDP that you're really going to get this offseason?
Like, what do you mean? Like,
well, I mean, like, most of the time in the offseason, I kind of sell my IDPs just to kind of maybe restock some offense and get some guys in the auction for next year. But I have had a few guys this year that I've kind of been like, I like him. I'm going to go get him. Do you have anybody that's just been stood out to you last year? You felt like the value, the cost to acquire them was, relatively low, and whatever position you decided to go get them. I know we probably all have those guys this offseason.
Yeah, have you been going out and acquiring anyone, Mike?
Oh, not really. Now's around the time where I'm gonna kind of like see, kind of peruse things. But I think Pete Werner is a guy I think I want.
That's nice. I think this is the perfect time to buy those guys going into their second year that disappointed as rookies.
Or vets.
Yes, or veterans who we think might be on the way out, because we want to pencil these shiny rookies in as the immediate starters. And last year was a good reminder. These old dudes, man, they got value.
I tell you though, it's been a good time for the vets. Truly, I mean, we've been pumping them a lot, but yeah, I mean, we've seen with the fat contracts the vets have gotten. I mean, with all the an IDP where it's just been all the old vets that have been reliable.
So Darius Smith, Von
Maybe
Miller, Chandler
Campbell.
Jones.
Yeah.
Maybe Blake Martinez. See if anybody wants to get rid of Blake Martinez. Maybe play him for a year. Jordan Hicks is another. I actually don't mind Jordan Hicks' landing spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like that. What about you, Joshy? Anybody you're kind of wanting to go get or have gotten or?
No, for me, I'm maybe, like I said, I'm trying to get in there and scoop those second year guys, because it's not just about like buy the dip off the disappointment. It's these guys are old news because the new rookies are coming in.
Yeah.
So it's the shiny new toy, and last year's model gets bumped back.
Sure.
Here's maybe a name to think about. I know we all don't like New England IDPs, but Cameron McGrone.
Okay.
That's a name to think about.
McGrone,
not McGroin. McGrone.
Gotcha.
Now we're going with McGroin now,
Sorry,
in the
Mike,
interest
that's all I
of all
thought
the
about.
other names from tonight's show.
Overruled.
Yeah, overruled.
Eddie,
McGroin it is.
Eddie, give me yours. What about you this offseason? IDP, who have you been flirting with a little bit?
It's a good time to go buy Danielle Hunter.
Danielle Hunter's a great buy. I mean, I've been pumping or beating the drum for Gross Matos a little bit. I think he's going to be in a nice situation again. Obviously, I love Justin Reed. I mean, his landing spot was a slam dunk. Guys like Marcus Davenport, I think, can still go to another level. I think he's still slightly underpriced. I think people maybe are still sleeping on Greg Rousseau a little bit. Also, I love Von Miller being there. Just that's a part of the contract people are missing. Like a lot of these great edge rushers go to Von Miller's camp in the offseason and learn from Von Miller. That guys like Rousseau, even Epinesa, who hasn't really shown much, like having Von Miller there to learn from, that is so valuable.
It's an arrow up in terms of their overall quality of play.
Yeah.
Look what happened to Max Crosby this year. He did. He went to Von's camp and he exploded.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've kind of had flirty eyes for Yannick here lately. You don't care for it.
I mean,
I don't mind it.
Yeah. Al-Qadim Muhammad, who I think he's coming in to replace, I had him on the roster along with Kwity Paye last year in our main league. So, yeah, I think he's a great kind of bye-week fill-in type of guy, like D-end 3-4 on your roster.
Sure.
I got him pegged for 6 sacks.
Yeah. He had a sneaky season last year, and I know Crosby probably helped him out a little bit, but that line there in Indy's good. I don't know. I still can't get off of these safeties either. I got Justin Simmons this week, which we still like him there in Denver. Buda Baker is still going to be great. we just talked about these mock results a couple weeks ago and how you just fade DBs. Not only do you fade DBs in startups and in, drafts and stuff like that, but people fade DBs just in general. And the natural inclination in the offseason is, I probably need to get off this older Buda Baker to try to get some of get a third or a fourth back or whatever. No, it just depends on the way your team is set up and everything. But it's fine to go grab some of these Kari Willises and Jordan Hicks and people that we've talked about. I don't know. This is kind of where I start paying more attention to vets as opposed to rookies. And maybe that's just because I'm not as good of a rookie evaluator.
That's what I'm saying. Go get the guys who aren't rookies, right? Everyone wants rookie picks, especially as we get closer. It's only going to reach a fever pitch. So I think it's a great time to buy.
Has anybody been able to sell Tay Crowder for anything?
No, I think everyone knows.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're just wait, does this guy suck?
In our leagues, the leagues we're in now, it's all so we're all tuned in. We don't have any fish out there really anymore, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd be flipping Tay Crowder for a second.
and what happens to Kenneth Murray? What are you doing with Kenneth Murray?
You're just hoping. You're just holding.
Are you just kind of hoping the Chargers are stuck with him and don't do anything, and they kind of have to play him out of necessity?
It helps him a lot that Kaiser White is gone, in my opinion, because now it's just him and the tranquilizer.
Yeah, and Tranquil can never stay healthy.
Yeah.
Although it's a great opportunity for Drew.
Early season is going to tell a lot because Staley has not sounded super optimistic in the Kenneth Murray camp. But
no,
that could be a good
flat
thing.
out loathes him, I think.
It could be a good thing. Ship Murray off to somebody who appreciates him. I do still think the guy is talented, but it's hard, man. You're the quarterback of the defense. These Pat Queens and Isaiah Simmons, and you just put these guys in such a tough position, especially a lot of these guys they're pegging as a green dot to call plays early on in their career. That's so hard. And, freaking green dot king over here. I mean, you understand that better than anybody, Mike. But
those guys are still so young, though. I don't think any of those guys you just mentioned there, Bob, are any of those guys over 23 yet? I mean, that you still, I think, need to
be patient.
Just be patient. Yeah.
Yes.
It could be
just like us, not over 23 yet. Just be patient with us.
Right.
Absolutely.
We're getting there.
God, I wish I was 23 again.
No, you don't.
All right, Mike, you've come in. Bobby mentioned the green dot. That's obviously what you are most known for. But this time of year, let the folks know 4 for 4. What do you got coming down the pipe we can look forward to?
I'm waiting for some of these free agents to sign. But putting hopefully the finishing touches on some of the IDP landing spots for 2022. And then putting together some, what the defensive scheme changes could mean for IDP coming up with some of the newer defensive coordinators. So I'll be working on that. And then, April, for most of the rest of this month, and April hitting the lab for rankings. So, those will probably be out sometime late April, early May.
The wheel just keeps on turning, boys. The content never stops.
Hey, off season, come on.
Yeah, this is the on season.
That's right.
And with that, I think
I
that's
good.
I really like it. I think we're gonna call it a night right there, Mike. Thank you, my friend, for coming on.
Russell Crowe, man,
spending your birthday with us. Let us not forget. Go
HBD, Mike.
Yeah, HBD.
We're so thankful you were born.
TY. We're so thankful you were born. That's really sweet.
Thank you to Mike's mother.
Yeah.
Absolute saint.
For blessing us with this gift 45 years ago.
Mrs. Woellert.
Thankful to begin hopefully another 365 day trip around the sun.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
You earned it, brother.
You earned it. Go get
especially after tonight.
Yes, go get you a good night's sleep after we put you through the ringer.
Go get you Pop-Tart.
Go get you a Pop-Tart. And cut it in half and then put a Samoa in the middle.
Coconut Dream,
Josh.
Reese's
That could be a
Eggs.
game changer.
That could be a game changer.
Coconut Dream, Josh.
We'll leave you with that. Thank you all for listening. Next week, we're going to have John Macri coming at you guys with the defensive ends to watch out for from this rookie draft class. That's with Joey the Tooth. Don't miss it. Next time you hear from us, we will have Joey in there as well. So it's that time of year. We got guys like Mike, like Kyle B., like John Glosser, like Joey, doing the Lord's work to get us ready for the draft. So stay tuned, folks. Don't go anywhere. The off season, no sir, the on season. And we're going to have you covered every step of the way. Thanks y'all for listening, and we'll see you next week.
IDP show, IDP show, IDP show, yeah.